Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your man Black again. And this time I'm going to address this ADOS hashtag and this ADOS movement, identity, and idea. And I said before that I was going to treat this very cautiously, and that in order to be fair, I was going to recognize the validity of ADOS as it pertained to addressing and compartmentalizing concerns. That I was not going to embrace it as a means of division, but that as it identifies concerns that African Americans who are descendants of kidnapped and enslaved victims, I would go ahead and support it, as it addresses those concerns that are unique to that particular nationality and history within our race. I would go ahead and accept it. To the extent of pushing away black people of other nationalities, I would not. And I have seen that many black folks of various nationalities have taken on different attitudes. Some have said it is divisive. Some have made it divisive. And others have simply said, well, it's just in order to specify concerns. They've taken the middle road. I was surprised at how many took the middle road from outside of the African American experience of being kidnapped and enslaved, meaning African Americans who were still of Jamaican parents and grandparents, or African Caribbeans who were not American at all, Africans from the continent who were not American or Caribbean at all, and had never been forced out of their homes. I will admit that many of us did take a balanced view, and I'm proud of it. I am proud of that. Then I learned something. Black Lives Matter was funded by George Soros, and it was spearheaded by some black women who were not even interested in men. And they were promoting the lifestyle of same-sex relationships. The only same-sex relationships I am allowed to promote as a Muslim, and I do not apologize for this, are friendships and blood kinships. And that's it. Oh, and business. Romance and marriage, I'm not allowed to even so much as condone and say it's okay and normal. I'm not allowed to, and I don't apologize for it. It's not, they're not. It is not normal for men to be attracted to men, let alone to be romantically or sexually involved with them. It is not normal for women to be attracted to women, let alone romantically or sexually involved with them. These things, I'm never going to sit up here and say that they're normal. I seek refuge in Allah from even thinking that these are things that are normal. I've never harmed them, and I've never heard anyone call for anyone else to harm people that were this way. But yes, Brunei has a valid law. Brunei is coming with a law that is from the Sharia. It is valid in Islam. It is necessary. If you get caught committing adultery, you're supposed to be stoned to death. It's a hard thing to prove, very difficult. But if it can be proven, then the offenders ought to be stoned to death, whoever's married, male or female. Also, same goes for homosexual sex. If you get caught doing that, it's a hard thing to prove. But if you get caught and you can be proven guilty, it is a capital offense. And from my understanding, the burden of proof is even lighter than it is for adultery. Nonetheless, I make no apologies, and I don't think that Brunei should have to face any kind of backlash for it. But getting back to black people, we need something to protect heterosexual marriages between black men and black women. And this is where Ayo Kimathi, for all of his talk about the ancestors and gods, for all of that talk with which we Muslims are not allowed to agree, he does have a valid point regarding that. Heterosexual marriages between black men and black women are under a microaggressive attack, if you will. No one's coming out and saying, we're not for it, we don't like it, we hate it, but that's exactly what is never being promoted. The only time it might be promoted is if the guy is somewhat thugged out, at least enough to be irresponsible. That's it. Leading to the perception among black women that there aren't any good black men. Leading to the perception among good black men that black women don't want good black, that there are no good black women who want black men. Good black men. That leading to the perception on both sides of the gender divide within the race that there's not even anybody out there for us with whom to start a family. ADOS is a part of that. It is the same thing. From my understanding, Yvette Carnell began this hashtag ADOS, and she's involved with another woman. I don't care what race the other woman is. We're done with that mess. We can't afford it. If we could have afforded it, it wouldn't be promoted to us. This is becoming a problem. It has been a problem for a long time. It is one of those things that your enemy promotes, and you know why they're promoting it. As far as African Americans having concerns that other nationalities may not have, maybe African Americans being owed reparations that other nationalities are not owed, I am in full agreement. But by the same token, African Americans cannot afford to be pushing away other groups within the race unless those groups push us away. Other thing I've seen is that there have been those of us who have talked major stuff. Now, Mark Black has pointed out he's pointed out more than once that he does not categorically hate black people from other countries and other backgrounds. So I understand when he gets to talking junk, talking mad stuff, if you will, and even cursing at them, he makes clear who he's cursing out. He's cursing out the ones that come with these attitudes. There's nothing to blame him for regarding that. However, other people would listen and they would not pay full attention, and they would just go off and start talking bad because we're too prone to this already. Especially African Americans who are not conscious and Southern Lagos metro area Nigerians. We are the two most likely to go at each other and to go after everybody else. And we're going to have to put a stop to this and end to this at some point. Yes, I got problems with Southern Nigerians from the Lagos metro area. Not with Nigerians per se, but specifically with Southern Lagos metro area Nigerians. I got issues with them. They're the most trash-talking, arrogant, pompous bastards the continent has to offer outside of North Africa. But in all of Black Africa, they're the worst. Let's call it what it is. But let's not lie about certain things either. A lot of times we ain't worth a hill of beans. Our community is dividing based on this, but it's not dividing fast enough. Those of us who are woke and conscious remain too intertwined with those of us who want to stay unawake, unconscious, and downright niggerish. And this is what happened to Nipsey Hussle. This is why Nipsey Hussle got shot. He wanted to do some good things, but he remained too intertwined with dumb, jigaboo, porch monkey, Tarzan chasing, spear chucking ass niggas. And this is one of our problems. And with regard to that, any other group of people has every right to look at us and say, these niggas are lost. It is the same with Jamaicans. It was a Jamaican that got this revolutionary spirit from a Sudanese. Yeah, you didn't know that Marcus Garvey got his revolutionary spirit and his Pan-Africanism from an African from the continent, from Sudan. Many of us were not aware of this, but this is true. He got it from him in London, went to the U.S. and spread it. So he was the seed, the African Americans were the soil and the water. This Pan-Africanism grew, and both of us, the Jamaicans and the African Americans alike, took this Pan-Africanism and then tried to divorce it from Islam. So we ain't shit. At the end of the day, we all are in need of some sort of redemption for some really fuck mess that we have done. And this is why it is that we do not have the right to get arrogant with each other. We do have the right to call each other on the BS, but we have no right to get arrogant with each other. I renounce ADOS, and I renounce anything that is vaguely supportive and condoning of same-sex relationships or marriages for black people. I hope this has been a benefit. Assalamu alaikum and Black Power.